Hi, I'm Steve Schwartz, co-founder of Unrivaled, and your host for this episode of Beyond the Scoreboard. If you don't already know, Beyond the Scoreboard is a show dedicated to highlighting the positive and innovative work that professional sports teams are doing for their fans and the local communities. On today's show, we're talking with Jeff Adiego from the NBA's Golden State Warriors. Jeff is going to give us an inside look at the Warriors Basketball Academy located in Oakland, California. Hey, Jeff, thank you for joining us on Beyond the Scoreboard.
Thanks, Steve. Really appreciate you guys reaching out to us and happy to be here today.
Absolutely. Hey, Jeff, I want to start by talking about the Golden State Warriors' unique commitment to youth basketball. Can you give us a quick overview on what the Warriors have built over the past couple of decades?
Sure. We have a long-standing history with a lot of involvement in youth basketball. Really started back over 20 years ago. I was fortunate enough to actually start working for the Warriors back in '99. I was actually a senior in college at the time and just finishing up my degree, and actually did an intern position here with the Warriors at that time. And within a year of me starting there, we actually kicked off our youth basketball programs with our basketball camps in the summer of 2000. We also kicked off our Junior Warriors Basketball League at that time as well. And certainly grown over the years. In that first summer of basketball camp, we offered 4 camps with about 500 kids, learned a lot in that first season. And over the years, we kept growing and growing. So we'd add, a couple camps each and every summer to the point where back here and in the summer of 2019, we were offering close to 35 camps in communities all throughout the Bay Area and close to 4,000 kids attending those camps. So in that span, we've grown to become the largest basketball camp program in the league. And, what's been really rewarding for me is just to be around it for that entire time and see some young campers that came through those doors in those early years as, maybe 8 or 9 year olds, watch them grow, turn into great high school players, maybe even play beyond high school, and then come back to us as camp coaches because they obviously, felt the impact that our camp made on them as young players. And they want to be a part of that next group of coaches that helps that next generation kind of learn all the different life skills and things that basketball can provide. So definitely a rewarding journey for me and happy to still be in it.
Wow. So if I heard that right, you guys have been doing this in some form or fashion for 20 years to the point now where you are hosting roughly 4,000 campers per year?
4,000 campers just in the summer. So we do
just
camp pretty much year round, and we see close to 7,000 campers over the course of an entire year in a typical, non-pandemic year. And also in our Junior Warriors Basketball League, we see about 11,000 kids annually in that program as well.
Well, that's a lot of kids. I got to imagine that makes a huge impact on the local Oakland community, what you guys have done with these camps.
Well, I think for us, it really started, in those early years, understanding we were the only professional basketball team in the Bay Area, 2 baseball teams, 2 football teams at the time. But there was only 1 basketball team. We really felt like, it was our role to really, have a hand in shaping youth basketball in the Bay Area. We started with our camps here in Oakland. That'll always be kind of our home base and where it all began. And it was important for us to bring Warriors basketball camp to whatever community you live in here in the Bay Area. So our team was very different in those early years, the early 2000 Warriors versus the Warriors we've seen for the past 5 or 6 years. So our program really had to be strong in those early years. Parents had to feel like their kids were getting a great basketball experience, that they were, not only feeling better about themselves at the end of the week, they were improving their skills and really making it worthwhile. And as the team success kind of took off over this past decade, our camp numbers continue to grow and we're able to reach even more kids in our community. And to the point now where we've had campers from all over the world come to Warriors basketball camp, 6 different continents we've seen kids from over the course of the 20 years. And just a rewarding experience for me and the rest of the staff to be able to, really impact kids on the court, teach them, the right way to play the game and really grow, develop that passion and love for the game of basketball.
Yeah. Even outside of the skills development, is there any feedback that you've gotten, even anecdotally, about how the camps have actually improved the lives of the kids who have participated?
We see kids come through that, may or may not be in love with the game when they walk through that door, but it's the other elements that, provide value to, and parents see that in involving their kids in team sports and particularly a sport like basketball, those different things, particularly on communication and teamwork, and just how that can translate into, the different areas of their lives, whether it be academic or even beyond when they're getting ready to enter the professional world. I think there's a lot that can be learned on the court and can really help these players develop.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's talk a little bit more in detail about the Warriors Basketball Academy. Can you give our listeners a quick background on what the Academy is and why the team decided to create it?
Sure. I spoke about the, kind of longstanding history of our program and, getting us to a level where, we were the largest basketball camp program in the NBA. And with Chase Center being built in San Francisco, with a new practice facility being built that's attached to that arena, we had this tremendous facility in Oakland that served as the Warriors practice facility since 1997. It's the same facility that, Stephen Curry spent the first 10 years of his career kind of honing his skills and becoming an NBA All-Star, becoming a two-time MVP, becoming a three-time NBA champion in this facility. And it was brought up to our group, our youth basketball department, could we utilize this facility to offer year-round skill development programming for youth basketball? And, when I heard this, it was music to my ears. We had spent the first 20 years, really traveling the Bay, different high school gyms, different middle school gyms, college gymnasiums, junior colleges, rec centers, whatever it was to kind of run our programs out of those facilities. But we never had one place that we could call kind of our home base. So, what better place than, the Warriors practice facility here in Oakland?
Right. Yeah. What are the team's goals behind the Warriors Basketball Academy? Are you on track to achieve those goals despite COVID?
Yeah, so our main goal is pretty simple. Through our basketball camps, we typically see kids coming through the door, when they're maybe 7 or 8 years old. And, they'll be with us for a few years, but usually by the time they hit, around age 12 or so, they've kind of aged out of that basketball camp experience and they're onto, a little bit more competitive things and high school programs and year-round AAU teams they may play on. With the access to our facility in Oakland and some of the things we've implemented here, we're now able to stay with those players for a longer period of time. So they may have came through the door as a 7 or 8 year old to camp. Now they can stay with us all the way through their high school year. So the Warriors Basketball Academy can be a part of their basketball journey, kind of from start to finish. And, we find that as something that's really unique. But we're hoping that, what we're able to offer from a coaching standpoint, from a technology standpoint, really drives them to continue to pursue their dreams and really make the most of whatever their basketball career may end up being.
Yeah, it sounds like a real special experience that you guys are offering. From my own personal experience and being a father of 2 young youth athletes, I see firsthand how expensive youth athletics has become. How have you guys been able to manage those costs so that the Warriors Basketball Academy is accessible to everyone?
Sure. We've had a scholarship program that's been in place since we started, where if parents that reach out to us that don't have the means to attend one of our programs, and just follow a couple very easy steps, have their child write a letter why they want to be a part of the camp, for them to also write a letter on why they may need some assistance. We're usually able to help pretty much everyone that submitted those things to us and give them a scholarship to camp. We're actually in the process right now of creating a little bit more formalized program, being that we're now utilizing this facility year round. So once we're able to get out of the restrictions from COVID and offer more programming, even more opportunities are going to be available for kids, particularly here in Oakland, to utilize this space and really transform themselves, not only as a basketball player, but just as a person, just having access to some of these wonderful things that we're able to provide.
I think that's so important. Congratulations on that. Since COVID has impacted all of us over the past year, how have you guys been able to navigate COVID-19 and be productive at the Warriors Basketball Academy?
Sure. We definitely had to pivot quickly. Back in March, we were actually one day away of having our big grand opening for a reopening for this facility here in Oakland. We were going to have an event here with 250 plus people. Steph Curry was going to be a part of it. Zaza Pachulia, Jennifer Azzi, Juan Toscano Anderson, who's a member of the Warriors now, who's actually the first former camper at Warriors basketball camp to make the Warriors team, which is somebody we definitely have a lot of pride in. But they were all scheduled to be a part of it. And literally the night before, Rudy Gobert tested positive for COVID and everything was kind of put to a halt. And so we quickly pivoted to some virtual programming. We started off with some free workout on Instagram Live through our Instagram handle, and got some great engagement there. And it really led to us thinking, well, how can we continue to spend time with kids on the court, even though we're not going to be able to be in the same physical space as them? And that's really what planted the seeds for our virtual camps this summer. We offered 9 virtual camps. Close to 90 kids attended each of those camps. We saw
Wow.
kids from 25 different states, 6 different countries attend those camps. We had one special camper from Iceland that actually attended 5 of those weeks of camp.
Wow.
So it was really neat, and it allowed for kids, no matter where they live, to attend Warriors basketball camp. And that was one of the really neat things about it. A kid could be in Michigan, or a kid could be in Italy, and they could attend our virtual camp, and they'd be on screen alongside a kid that's, here in Berkeley or here in San Francisco or Fremont or something like that. And our coaches would be able to, see them on screen, to call them by name, and really bridge the gap between, players from all over the world.
Well, it sounds like with that kind of engagement, you guys have definitely found some ways to be successful in this COVID period that we're in. Have you learned anything during this period that you think you'll carry over post-COVID?
For sure. I think the biggest thing that we've learned is technology is going to be a bigger part of training and skill development as we continue to move forward. We were pretty much beginners when it came to Zoom calls and Ring Central calls, is what we actually utilized to run our virtual camps. And now we almost feel like we're experts in all the experience we got doing it over the course of the summer. Another thing we did here at the facility prior to the pandemic is we installed some new performance technology working with a company called Shoot 360. So when you come here and do a Shoot 360 workout, you're actually able to get the metrics on everything you're doing, whether it's passing and ball handling or shooting.
Jeff, if sports fans from across the country want to learn more about the Warriors Basketball Academy and even maybe participate in future camps, where should they go to learn more?
So our website is gswacademy.com. We have information on all of our current programming. We have information on some of the things that we do in non-pandemic times as well. We actually are open right now for some in-person programming. So we started with our Shoot 360 programming where, kids are in masks, coaches are in masks, they're in designated workout spaces. We use sanitized basketball. There's no shared equipment. There's no contact. We're able to accommodate about 10 kids per hour through those Shoot 360 workouts. So there's some things that are available right now. We're also still offering those virtual programs, virtual private training available as well. So, all things Warriors Basketball Academy can be found at gswacademy.com.
gswacademy.com. Okay, excellent. Well, hey, Jeff, thank you so much for joining us on Beyond the Scoreboard today. Any final thoughts or information you want to share with sports fans across the country?
I would just say, I think one thing that we've seen over the course of the pandemic is kids are having an opportunity right now to really work on skill development, don't they? There's no games to be played. There's no tournaments, particularly in our market. I know in some other places in the country, they are playing games, but I think the kids that are really dedicated to the game and really utilize whatever was available to them, whether it was, skill development drills on YouTube or the home court app or some of the virtual programs that we offer, the kids that are taking the time to really work on their game at home and put in their own time on it, they're really going to see those benefits when it is time to take the court again. And you're going to see who were the kids that were really dedicated and working on their game when kind of they were away from their leagues and from their teams. That's going to be very evident once we get going again.
Well, Jeff, thanks again. Please take care and please be safe.
Thank you, Steve. You do the same.